Let's get ready for Monday Mortgage Minute with your hosts, Tom McNamara and Bruce Woodburn.
All right.
Hello, Bruce.
How are you?
Man, I'm unbelievable.
Fantastic. Happy Monday morning to you. I want to get started on this thing right away. First of all, just a couple of things people need to be aware of. We do have a Fed meeting this week on the 11th and 12th. The chances on Fed doing anything to improve interest rates are slim and none. It's a 99.7% chance that they won't do anything to lower interest rates. However, I did see a gallon of gas drop to $2.99 this week at one of the gas stations. So
really, was that a mistake? Like when Berkshire Hathaway went down to $186?
I don't know what happened on that one, but I do think that it's Biden tapping into our reserves right now. But we got some important stuff to talk about, because I think that having that mental clarity on exactly what do you need to do to, first of all, get your mortgage set up so you don't run into problems. So, Tom, did you know that 67% of people that are buying homes and getting a mortgage are dissatisfied, delayed in their closing, don't close at all, problems with their loan? Now, that's a huge issue, because if 67% of people are having problems, then where does that problem start and how can you avoid it? Because if you want to add stress to the home buying experience, then have a delay or unexpected issues on your mortgage, and it will elevate that stress level through the roof for everybody. So let's talk about, what do you need to do to get yourself in a situation so that you don't run into that, right? So first of all, making sure that if you are entering the home buying market, whether you are buying your first home or your 10th home, it doesn't make any difference. Things change in the process, and everybody's circumstances are different. So making sure that the loan officer, first of all, you have a loan officer that's not afraid to ask for the items that they're necessarily going to need. They're aware of the items that are needed based on your individual circumstances, and that you supply them early. A lot of people get frustrated, and I want to address this, because they're like, I haven't even found my house yet. Why do I have to find my tax returns, my divorce decree, and all that? So that you don't have a problem. If you're going out and making an offer on a house, Tom, that becomes a contractual obligation. It's not a suggestion, right?
Correct.
You've got a contractual obligation. So you need to make sure that your ducks are in a row. And that means supplying everything. So here's the way you avoid issues and you have a smooth transaction and you eliminate stress. The loan officer should dig deep and ask a lot of questions, because it's the little things that bring up some issues, like, oh, did you get that money that grandpa owed you from 1977 that you deposited into your bank account? Red flag. How are we going to address this problem? Right. I do pay child support, and I pay $400 a month. Well, wait a minute. You paid child support from two different situations. So you pay $400 for one and $200 for another. Did we get both of them? Right. These are the little things that kind of snowball, and people think, the loan officer didn't ask me about it. Maybe I can get away without it. No, you're never going to get away without it. Everything comes out in the wash. It all comes out. So addressing these issues, getting your pay stubs, W-2s, your tax returns if you're self-employed or a subcontractor, anything that's necessary, you've got to get it to your loan officer so they can now pre-qualify the loan, address any credit issues that need to be addressed, make sure they've got everything. And then most lenders stop at the point where you are pre-approved. So the loan officer has now reviewed your loan file and determined that you are qualified to buy a home and issued you a pre-approval letter. I like going the next step. We do what's called fast track loan approval, where I'll physically have an underwriter underwrite your loan in advance. Because if anybody's going to dig something out you didn't see, it's going to be an underwriter. So why don't we do this up front instead of the week before closing? Because most lenders wait, the loan officer pre-approved you, then you pay for a home inspection once you go into contract. The seller takes their home off the market. The seller makes repairs. You pay for an appraisal, maybe a wind mitigation, then find out that there was a problem. Talk about stress. That's a problem right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, one of the things, it kind of came up to me. I was reminded this weekend that, everybody as a home buyer, everybody has a different decision process, right? Some people are very surface level, kind of like your pre-approval, they just like, it's close enough. It's good enough. I'll swag it. Other people need to know every single thing that's going to happen, exactly how much it's going to cost, exactly how much it's going to be impacted by any different maneuvering. And we, as the professionals helping them through this process, need to be able to understand that, but also be able to dictate to them how it needs to work, right, regardless of how they want it to work. Now, we'll try to help them along in that process, but the banks are generally unmovable in what they need and how they work, and so it's up to us to kind of fit everything in.
We're the ones that have to give them the playbook. That's it. They don't write the playbook. The playbooks are underwritten by Fannie Mae, or the playbooks are designed by Fannie Mae or HUD based on their guidelines, and then it's our job to be able to convey that information so we can get the proper information. But you're right. One person may be very surface level, like, how much cash to close do I need? You're going to need about 14 grand cash to close, and your payments are going to be about 2,800 a month. Great. I'm good with that. Other clients may be saying, look that's $200 a month more than I really have in the bank. What can we do to get that down a little bit? Or I need to know within, say, a $200 range. A lender can never get it exact because there's too many moving parts, but you should be able to get within a couple $100 cash to close, and you should be able to get within about $50 on a payment, assuming that the property taxes, an HOA, a CDD don't change that number specifically. And that's impossible to perceive until you actually have the property. Then you can come up with the right numbers. By
the way, that brings up a really good point, something that I've started to do more and more lately, because especially when I sell a house, if I'm the buyer's agent and I'm selling a house that's been in someone's hands for a long time, because, if an elderly couple has owned a home for 32 years here in Florida, their property taxes are going to be extremely low.
That's right.
And then on that house, when that transfers, that low tax rate does not transfer to the new owner.
Not until the next year when it's reassessed, right?
But if they calculate what their payment's going to be on the old taxes, then they find out the new taxes. Sometimes that's a big surprise. And if it's
a huge surprise, and
if it's $100, it's $100. Sometimes I've seen it where it went up by $500.
Absolutely. No question about it.
A month, right? And so, that's a huge surprise to the downside, if you will. And, I've seen people lose their home over that over a few years, And
most
so what I've started to do is go out to the county website, and there's a calculator. Every county has a calculator. They're not always easy to find, but they're there. There's a calculator, and it's an estimate. It's going to be within a couple $100 a year, $300 to $500 range of what it's going to be. But I use, that number to inform my buyer. Hey, look, I know it says this on the taxes, but this is what it's really going to be.
That's what you're going to be from January of next year. That's right. Yeah, that's good advice. So, and then, hey, we got a class coming up. What is that on the?
We do. It's on the 18th. I believe that's it's a Tuesday, the 18th. And that's at our office in Maitland.
That's right.
We'll have we'll put the link up in a comment to let people get out there and find it.
So listen, this class is going to be very different from any class that we teach. This is buyers and sellers coming together. So why buyers and sellers together? Because buyers want to buy, but they're reluctant to get into the market because of interest rates. That means there's less buyers out looking for property. That means sellers need to get motivated and understand what is attracting buyers in this environment. So we're bringing everybody together. You're going to give tips of the trade for sellers to help them market their property better. We're going to talk about what buyers need to do to position themselves to get what they want, and why this market is ripe for the pickings for the people that really want to get into the market right now. And we're starting to see more and more of that. More sellers are letting their house get back on the market. They're willing to forego that current 3% rate they have to go to a new rate in the high 6s or low 7s. So we're going to discuss all that, but we're going to put buyers and sellers together. So very unique class. That will be on the 18th at 6:30. We will have a Zoom link to this as well. So if you'd like to join by Zoom, we prefer that you're there in person, but many of you can't travel that far. So please join us. We hope you're going to find that informative. And then I've got a class, I believe it's this Thursday. Go to webringyouhome.com and look at all my events. But I've got a leapfrog class for investors this Thursday as well. webringyouhome.com. So
awesome. Yeah, I was thinking about a experience I'm having right now with a buyer, talking about bringing buyers and sellers together, and I realized that right now, as we negotiate between agents, there's a lot more cooperation between agents trying to figure out how to make a deal happen versus listing agents being standoffish and just like, hey, bring me your best offer.
They're not quite as cocky right now, are they?
We are, man. I'll tell you, it's like, hey, I need this. Well, I need that. Well, we're going to need this. Well, let's take this over here. And there's a lot more deal making, which usually ends up creating a win-win. Right?
Why do you think Warren Buffett is jumping in the market right now? He's less concerned about rates and more concerned about rate of return. And that's something that we find people stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. They're so concerned about interest rates that they're missing out on the big picture. And that's really, truly understanding how money works. And that's why 30% of the market right now are investors jumping in. They're not as afraid of the payment. They know they're probably not going to have a positive cash flow on investment properties right now, but they see the light at the end of the tunnel, and they know once those rates drop, they won't have that opportunity near as much. So great time to get in the market. By the way, go to Tom's YouTube page and subscribe to his YouTube page. Where do they find that?
That is it's on YouTube, Moving to Orlando, Florida, with dashes in between. I've got it down there on the thing. We've done Lake Mary, we've done Winter Springs is started to come out there. We've filmed Altamont Springs and Sanford and Heathrow. So we've got a video coming out every week. And then after the summer's over, I think we're going to step it up to 2 videos a week.
Well, I tell you what, I've been watching your videos. They're phenomenal. If you'd like, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger. Check that out. Check out all my events on webringyouhome.com. If you want a great lender, somebody that's going to look out for you, make sure you're not one of the 67% of dissatisfied clients that purchase homes, then check me out. I guarantee you my Google reviews will show you that I do everything I can to make sure that you have a pleasant experience and get a great rate and terms. So
no, you've always taken care of my customers, so I appreciate it. Bruce,
and you mine, my friend, and you mine.
It is time for us to go. I hope you have a great week.
Have a great
week. Enjoy using that excavator.
You got it, buddy.